Okay. I'm Albert Pineda, and this is my wife, Allison.
Hi.
We've been married for, it'll be 7 years this coming November, and we had discovered shortly after we got married, that we weren't able to conceive children on our own. And Allison, being working in the medical field, was aware of some of the things we could try, some of the specialists we could see. We ultimately went with IVF to have our first daughter, Avery. And obviously the procedure is very, very expensive, and we were going to try for a second time because we had a strong desire to want to grow our family. But unfortunately, we suffered miscarriages for Allison. And because of the rising cost of IVF, we weren't really able to try again. So ultimately, we came across the idea of fostering in order to potentially seek an opportunity to adopt a child, which is something that was really important to us. So that's ultimately how we came across the desire to want to foster.
So we joined another agency, which is interesting because I actually researched agencies for like a year, thought I found the perfect fit for us. And after a year of being with them, realized they weren't that great. And Steph worked for 5 Acres, our good friend Stephanie, and she would say, oh, but that's kind of interesting that they do that. And really subtly, really gently kind of hint that that doesn't sound right. And so after quite some time of her maybe pointing out some of the changes that could have happened and the better things that can happen, we decided to switch. And I'm so grateful we did. I regret not switching sooner or finding 5 Acres sooner. Yeah, with our previous agency, I felt like we were a number. We were very much only dealt with when we bugged a bit, and we weren't informed of anything unless I asked first, and I just felt like we weren't getting the TLC that I'd hoped for with an agency. And so Steph would say things like, well, they're doing Christmas gifts for kids, and they're doing this service project, and our workers stay with you the whole time, because we kept getting worker after worker after worker. I think we went through like 15 workers in a year. Just with the agency, let alone the county workers. Mm-hmm. So I was feeling really like we were neglected and not taken care of. And every time she would tell me something that 5 Acres would do, I'd go, oh, they do have that TLC. And that's what I was really looking for.
The process was good. It was convenient that we got to do it all online through Zoom, which is nice. I mean, obviously, with the previous agency we went through, we had to travel to locations. Sometimes that was a little challenging and difficult. So I like that 5 Acres was very accommodating for us to work towards when we can do the Zooms, when would be best for us to do it together. So I think it was a good experience getting our training.
And Yvonne was wonderful.
Yeah.
She was, the classes, because we'd taken it with a previous agency, we knew kind of what they had to offer. The classes were much better from her, much better. They were more thought-provoking, really gave a better picture of what to expect, and she was very accommodating and staying on top of what we needed help with and what we needed to complete to be able to finally sign off.
We switched agencies so during the middle of the pandemic, so it would have been
December.
December, yeah, actually almost a year now.
Yeah.
That we switched.
Yeah, we've been fostering for 2, and with 5 Acres almost a year, and I think our relationship has grown exponentially. We have one worker that we love, Dominique. She's fantastic, and she has worked with our family the entire time through multiple kids. So we have a really close relationship with her. Everyone from Laura on down has just been fantastic in letting us reach out to them directly. And Mireya has helped us a lot with finding the kids that are a good fit for our family. Everyone's been fantastic.
Well, it's definitely been a worthwhile experience for us to foster. Mm-hmm. We've had so many wonderful children come into our home. In fact, 4 total. And each one's been a different experience, but it's also been a very heartwarming experience, I think, for our families to get to care for these kids. Ultimately, you do have to deal with the heartbreak of having to let them go if they do get reunited with their family, which has been the case so far for all of the children we've welcomed. But at the same time, I think it's a worthwhile experience to see them grow and develop and get stronger and healthier, and to see their families also have that improvement as well. So I definitely think it is a worthwhile experience to foster, and if you do happen to get the opportunity to adopt, that would make it even that much better.
I tell anybody who's even considering fostering to just do it. You will not regret loving a child. It is so hard to let go, and that's been the hardest thing we've ever done, is to let go of children that we've loved like our own. And I think that comes with the risk of attachment, but if you don't love that child like your own, then you don't attach. That's not fair to the child. But I would say it's not about us, it's about the children. And if you lose sight of that and you kind of push that aside, then that risk of loss is still totally worth it. The kids that we've lost they're always going to be our children, but they are thriving and doing so well, and that is 100% worth it. It's not about us. I'll say, we had an opportunity to have a little 15-month-old girl for about a year and a half, and she reunified with her family, and her parents have let us keep a relationship with them and with her. Even today, they text me pictures. It's her first day of preschool, and the mom has recently had a health diagnosis that's bad, so we're taking her dinner next week. So that relationship that we have with her and with her family is one of the best gifts we've ever been given. And I would say that even if there's hesitation and fears, to let go of those, because a greater blessing comes for sure. And I'm so grateful that we fostered, just even for that little girl alone, but for all the kids that we've been able to touch. It's also really helped us become better people. We're more understanding, we're empathetic, more willing to see others for who they truly are versus just their story. I think that fostering has changed who we are, and for the better. And I'm so grateful for that.
4. So we've had 3 get reunited with their families, and we have 1 in our home right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So when we first met the little girl's family, I have to admit, she was our first child we fostered, that I went into it with a lot of fear and hesitation. I blamed her family for this situation that got her where she was, and went in with almost a thought of, am I going to be safe in the room with them? Is the baby going to be safe with them? And how dare they put her through this? And the first meeting was kind of scary and harsh. The family was very rude to us, and we barely talked at all. And then slowly we started to, through regular visits, get to know them and open ourselves up to them at the same time. And we got to see them for more than just their story, and see that their circumstances, their lives were harder. They'd had to make some tougher decisions, and they were still genuinely wonderful people who loved their daughter. They just really loved her. And so as we built that time in that relationship and served them, one time the mom's car broke down at a visit. And so I said, you go on your visit, you go take her, and she was at a park, and I said, I'll call AAA and get the car fixed. And so I sat and dealt with AAA so she could have her visit. And it wasn't something that I ever expected I would do that very first time I met her. But I just grew to love her and love the dad and the family, all the extended family. We still keep in touch with them as well. But I think it took us putting aside our biases and our fears and seeing them for who they really are, and seeing that they love their daughter regardless of their choices. Mm-hmm. We love seeing her. She still comes for play dates, and we get to babysit her, and we love having her. But it's also very sweet to have the relationship with her family that we do as well. Mm-hmm. They just texted us a couple weeks ago that CPS had closed their case. And we cheered for them, we celebrated for them. Like, what a great thing that they included us in that, and that we got to see their journey from start to finish. Mm-hmm. Yeah, one of the things that was really special to us is when we started, we were offered to have agency workers take the kids to and from visits and stay there. And it was important for us to get to know the family even from the start. So we've never had that happen. We've always taken the kids ourselves. And I'm so grateful that we do. Because the families really open up to you, they see you love their child, and that really fosters that relationship. So it's really important to us to get to know the family as well. And the other thing I would say too is that I think a lot of people get scared of the process of becoming foster parents, because it is time consuming, it is a lot. But I would say that 5 Acres made it really, really smooth for us. They walked us step by step. They said, this is due then, this is due here. And so we didn't feel overwhelmed, which made it a much smoother process than I would think a lot of people would expect to be. Yeah, one of the things I tell foster parents, because I have a lot of foster parents that are coming to me now, or potential ones, and I say find the right agency. Like if I could give any advice, we have some friends that were working with another agency and we're taking classes, and she came and said, but do you have to bug them for things? And I'm like, no, 5 Acres comes to me and says, why haven't you turned this in yet? You know, because I'm behind. It's not me ever having to bug them. And I said, that's not a good sign. Don't start off with them. But she's like, we're almost through the classes. I'm like, it doesn't matter. Find the right agency, because that's going to make or break your experience. So I'm so grateful that 5 Acres has made our experience what it has. Yeah. And then, sorry, you shouldn't get me talking. The other thing I would say too is, so we have a 4.5-year-old biological daughter. And I think a lot of people worry about fostering with their bio kids and how it will affect them. And I just want to put a plug that it's been the best thing for her too. Even at her young age, she has learned compassion and understanding that she didn't in a different way. She knows that we take care of the kids till mom and dad are better, and then they're going to go on and we maybe can get another child. And she already, when one leaves, already is saying, Mommy, will the next one be a boy or a girl? And what will their name be? And so it's been so good for her to learn to share and to learn that others have hard lives and to have compassion. So I would say it has only strengthened our daughter and only made her better, versus any fear that we would have had that it would be a detriment towards her.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Once fostering when you already have a biological child.
Yeah, I get a lot of people saying, what about my children? Is it going to have a negative effect on them? But it's only been positive for her. Sure, it's been hard, but life is hard, and that's good for her. So yeah, I think it is important that every child is our child, for however long we have them. And so we take family pictures with the child every time they come. We take pictures before they leave so we can see the growth and how well they've grown and how big they've gotten. We have a wonderful support system, so when we get a new child, we have friends and family that drop off boxes and boxes of clothes and toys and all sorts of stuff for us. And that child gets everything that our daughter would. So when we go buy her presents, yesterday I went to the store to buy her a present, and our little foster baby got one too. Just because if I'm going to buy for her, he gets one too. And so that child is totally enveloped in love and support and safety, and that's what they really thrive on. And that was our goal from the very beginning, is that that child is treated as any child would in our home.
2 to newborn.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Well, the 15th month that we initially took in, she's 2.5 now, almost 3.
Yeah.
She'll almost be 3. Yeah.
Yeah, we wanted to stay under our daughter's age just to honor her birth order if we did adopt. So we've only said under her age. But I mean, I think there's such a need. That's the hard part for us, making that decision, that there's such a need for kids that are older too. And I think if we didn't have her, we would absolutely take older kids. It's not a hesitation for that. But we've done a lot of newborns, so a lot of sleepless nights, but they're worth it too. So we're just really grateful. We've had 2 months in the whole 2 years where we haven't had a child, and
Oh, wow.
yeah, and it was a quiet 2 months. We really were grateful to have another call. Yeah, in fact, let me plug. Sorry, another thing, plug for 5 Acres. One of our big concerns with the previous agency is we didn't get a lot of calls. And so we would go months and months without a phone call for a child. And we're like, I know there's a need. I know there's so many kids that need homes. Why aren't we getting calls? And as soon as we switched to 5 Acres, we started getting calls. And I can get like 2 to 3 calls a week sometimes. We turn the kids away because we don't have the right fit for us or we don't have the space. But there's so many calls that we get, which is so different from the previous agency. I'm so grateful that they have the initiative and take that extra effort to make the calls. Yeah, education has helped us so much. In fact, excuse me, I think it's helped us with our biological daughter, because we went into this without a lot of tools for helping children that are struggling, and we've gotten so many. There's a lot of resources for foster parents, and I don't think a lot of people realize that. They think that they're going to take this battle on by themselves, but there's so many therapists that are calling us and seeing us, and we have so many people that we can call, and there's the financial help, and there's help with daycare pricing and finding the right daycare for us. And there's a lot of resources that have just made us really empowered. We've even had people reach out to us because a lot of our babies have been drug exposed, and so they've helped us with that as well. And so I feel like we have a very large village behind us that gives us the tools that we need to be successful with these children, and then to even help our biological daughter. Your turn.
Okay.
I'll cry in this one, so go ahead.
The loss is definitely really tough. I don't know if I can give like the best advice what I would just suggest is just really try and focus and think and reflect on the good times you had with the child, but then also that they can that they're in a healthier, better place than they could be, and that the family could also be healthier and stronger as well. So again, it is challenging, yeah, but I guess just try and focus on the good that you've done and the good that that child could potentially do in their life as after they moved on from you.
It's definitely the hardest part, for sure. The hardest part is the loss. But like Albert said, when we went into fostering, I pushed him a bit. And he said, well, let's try one class and see. And then we left the class and I went, oh my gosh, what are we getting ourselves into? And he said, no, we can help a child. Even if we don't adopt, I want to help a child. And so that's always been his attitude towards it. And we've been able to do that. Even the kids that haven't stayed with us, we've been able to see the child they come to us versus the child they are when they leave is so different in every way. And that's very rewarding.
If given the opportunity, we absolutely would be, but we understand that statistically it's not always in the cards. In fact, I guess the majority of the cases it would be no, that you wouldn't be able to adopt because the families are healing and getting better and able to take their kids back, which is obviously a wonderful thing. That's what we want to see eventually. But yeah, if given the opportunity, we absolutely would love to adopt.
And I told, we've had a good discussion about it, that if we do adopt or if we don't, then this probably won't be anything we step aside from permanently. Not that we maybe wouldn't take breaks because it is tooling, but we probably will be a part of foster care our whole lives. At some point or some way, it's definitely touched us and given us a passion and an understanding. How can we not help when we know what we know now? There's such a need and our eyes have been open to that, and we would be remiss if we stepped away from it permanently. Yeah, I mean, I can't promote it enough. And that's not to say that it's not hard sometimes. I mean, my friends, family, I'm very open. I tell them the good, the bad, and the ugly, but I still say it's one of the best things we've ever done. Short of marrying him, probably, then my next best decision was to foster, because it's just changed us so much, and it gives us a chance to change a child's life. You're determined to make me pull out the tissues, huh? You go first.
I would hope that they would feel loved. That they would feel loved, wanted, and welcome in our home. That's the kind of home that we want to build for them. Whether they get to stay with us or not, it doesn't matter. We want them to feel safe and secure and happy. And we would ultimately love for them to have a successful life, whether it's with us or with their biological families. So I think that's what we would want for them to be. Feel healthy, or to feel wanted, happy, strong, and to be successful in life.
That's beautiful. I would just add that I hope every child feels as absolutely special as they are. Any child that comes in our home, we just envelop them and just overwhelm them with love and affirmations, and just say, you are so special and you have so much to offer and you have special gifts yourself, and we just want them to leave knowing that they are amazing, because children are, and yet they hear it so infrequently, and life is so harsh, that I just want them to go feeling very empowered for who they are. So go 5 acres!